This poll has some really illuminating numbers when it comes to the approval ratings of the two Democratic senators in the state, Jacky Rosen and Cortez Masto. And these Democrats were part of that small group of senators that ultimately broke ranks with the party and joined Republicans in voting for the continuing resolution that opened the government back up and ended the historic, unprecedented shutdown. And some Democrats were really angry by that support. They felt like it was a betrayal, especially because they thought they were holding the line and keeping the government shut down to try to get some compromises from Republicans when it came to health care. And the Democrats who voted for the continuing resolution, they did not get any concrete compromises from Republicans when it came to health care. But I'm curious how their vote for the continuing resolution, how that impacted their approval ratings in Nevada.
Yeah, Brittany, and I think that this is probably the most interesting point of the whole poll. So when we look at the two Democratic senators, Cortez Masto and Rosen, they are underwater on approval in Nevada. So Cortez Masto, we see 31% approve, 42% disapprove. With Jacky Rosen, it's 28% approve, 46% disapprove. Now, obviously, Republicans are not necessarily going to be approving of these two senators. We see that here. We expect to see that. We see independents split to some degree, but overall, not on board with the senators right now. But what's really interesting here are among Democrats. So in both cases, they are split. 42% approve versus 39% disapprove for Cortez Masto, and then 42% approve, 37% disapprove for Rosen. That is really alarming, I think. So, these senators are not popular among their own party in their home state. That's a tough place to be. Now, I will say there is a footnote to that. This does seem like Democrats are unhappy with the senators for compromising during the shutdown. I think that there's clear evidence of that here. At least half of Democrats in the state don't like that they did that, and they're punishing these senators as a result. However, we've got a lot of time in between now and when, especially these senators go up for re-election. They are not up for re-election in 2026. So I don't see this necessarily hurting them personally in their seats currently, but I do think that this could speak to something within the Democratic Party, within that base, that they don't like how things transpired. And it remains to be seen whether or not they're going to remember that on Election Day in 2026.